Welcome to BAETTA International English, IELTS, GRE and ELT programs. This is Samuel, Chairman, IT and Head of Linguistics, BAETTA Bangladesh. As a part of MA in English, ELT, TOEFL and TESOL curricula, today I am going to deliver this lecture on how can you achieve beneficial backwash of testing on teaching and learning. This is an innermost and burning topic in language skills testing, evaluation and assessment course. So this video is very important to you. Let's get started. Lesson 5.7. How do you get a beneficial Washback? Washback also implies that students have ready access to you to discuss the feedback and evaluation you have given. In testing, backwash refers to the effect of test on teaching and learning. Beneficial washback results when the objectives of the test are in agreement with the objectives of the instructional program. Positive washback is said to result when a testing procedure encourages good teaching practice. For example, an oral proficiency test is introduced in the expectation that it will promote the teaching of speaking skills. Now, I am going to talk about achieving beneficial backwash. Let's begin. We can achieve beneficial backwash by using the following 8 tools, techniques or rubrics in testing. We can remember the sequence by a mnemonic technique SADCCA, S-A-D-C-A-C-K-A. Number 1. Sample widely and unpredictably. Normally, a test can measure only a sample of everything included in the specifications. It's important that the sample taken should represent as far as possible the full scope of what is specified. If not, if the sample is taken from a restricted area of the specifications, then the backwash effect will tend to be felt only in that area. The new TOEFL writing test referred to in will set only 2 kinds of tasks: compare, contrast, descriptive, interpret, chart or graph. The likely outcome is that much preparations for the test will be limited to those 2 types of tasks. The backwash effect may not be as beneficial as it might have been had a wider range of tasks been used. Whenever the content of a test becomes highly predictable, teaching and learning are likely to concentrate on what can be predicted. An effort should therefore be made to test across the full range of the specifications. In the case of achievement test, this should be equivalent to a fully elaborated set of objectives, even where this involves elements that lend themselves less readily to testing. Number 2. Test the abilities whose development you want to encourage. For example, if you want to encourage oral ability, then test oral ability. This is very obvious, a straightforward matter of content validity, yet it is surprising how often it is not done. There is a tendency to test what it is easier to test rather than what it is most important to test. It is important not only that certain abilities should be tested, but also that they should be given sufficient weight in relation to other abilities. Number 3. Use direct testing. Direct testing implies the testing of performance skills with text and task as authentic as possible. If we test directly the skills that we are interested in for studying, then practice for the test represents practice in those skills. If we want people to learn to write compositions, we should get them to write compositions in the test. If our course objective is that students should be able to read scientific articles, then we should get them to do that in the test. Immediately we begin to test indirectly, we are removing an incentive for students to practice in the way that we want them to. Number 4. Make testing criterion referenced. If test specifications make clear just what candidates have to do, be able to do, and with what degree of success, then students will have a clear picture of what they have to achieve. What is more, they know that if they do perform the task at the criteria level, then they will be successful on the test regardless of how other students perform. Both these things will help to motivate students. Where testing is not criterion referenced, it becomes easy for teachers and students to assume that a certain percentage of candidates will pass almost regardless of the absolute standard that they reach. The possibility exists of having a series of criterion reference tests is representing a different level of achievement or proficiency. The tests are constructed such as that a pass is obtained only by completing the great majority of the test tasks successfully. Students take only the test on which they are expected to be successful. As a result, they are spared the dispiriting as well as motivating experience of taking a test on which they can, for example, respond correctly to fewer than half of the items. This type of testing, I believe, should encourage positive attitude to language learning. It is the basis of some of the new GCSE examination under Britain. Number 5. Base achievement test on objectives. If achievement tests are based on objectives rather than on detailed teaching and textbook content, they will provide a true picture of what has actually been achieved. Teaching and learning will tend to be evaluated against those objectives. As a result, there will be constant pressure to achieve them. Number 6. Count the cost. One of the desirable qualities of tests which slips quite readily off the tongue of many testers after validity and reliability is that of practicality. Other things being equal, it is good that a test should be easy and cheap to construct, administer, score, and interpret. We should not forget that testing costs time and money that could be put to alternative uses. It is unlikely to have escaped the reader's notice that at least some of the recommendations listed above for creating beneficial backwash involve more than minimal expense. The individual direct testing of some abilities will take a great deal of time, as will the reliable scoring of performance on any subject test. The production of distribution of sample tests and training of teachers will also be costly. It might be argued, therefore, that such procedures are impractical. Number 7. Ensure test is known and understood by students and teachers. However good the potential backwash effect of a test may be, the effect will not be fully realized if students and those responsible for teaching don't know and understand what the test demands of them. The rationale for the test, its specifications and sample items should be made available to everyone concerned with preparations for the test. This is particularly important when a new test is being introduced, especially if it incorporates novel testing methods. Another equally important reason for supplying information of this kind is to increase test reliability. Number 8. Where necessary, provide assistance to teachers. The introduction of a new test may make demands on teachers to which they are not equal. If, for example, a long-standing national test of grammatical structure and vocabulary is to be placed by a direct test of a much more communicative nature, it is possible that many teachers will feel that they don't know how to teach communicative skills. One important reason for introducing the new test may have been to encourage communicative language teaching, but if the teachers need guidance and possible training, and these are not given, the test will not achieve its intended effect. It may simply cause chaos and disaffection. Where new tests are meant to help change teaching, support has to be given to help effect the change. Conclusion. In my opinion, this would reveal an incomplete understanding of what is involved. Before we decide that we can't afford to test in a way that will promote beneficial backwash, we have to ask ourselves a question. What will be the cost of not achieving beneficial washback? When we compare the cost of the test with the waste of effort and time on the part of teachers and students in activities quite inappropriate to their true learning goals, and in some circumstances with the potential loss to the national economy of not having more people competing in foreign languages, we are likely to decide that we can't afford not to introduce a test with a powerful beneficial backwash effect. Thank you.